Guys, after what happened to Norland, like people are becoming more and more cautious around the white race. They are no longer feeling safe. I don't know if this is valid or not, but this clip's about to show you exactly what happened and for you to judge it at the end. So I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section, and if you're new here, do well to hit on the subscribe button, and if you're returning, you're welcome back.
So I know I was talking about, the Latino vote before. The Viva vote for Donald Trump. Okay, well, let's get on to the white folks. The white farmers. So, word is out now that the white farmers voted for Donald Trump because they thought they were going to get Black Americans in the fields. Because they also thought Black folks did not have jobs. So when we put this all together, somehow the white farmers were convinced that Black folks don't have jobs. We don't work. we don't work. And so they voted for Donald Trump because they thought, okay, he gonna send them in the fields. So Donald Trump and them, with the whole Project 2025, said, okay, so we got to make this happen. So we got to cut these DEI stuff, all this DEI stuff, to put Black Americans out of work. When in reality, they put a bunch of white folk out of work just to get Black folks out of work. And so all these cuts that are happening are to try and harm Black Americans so much till they think that we're going to go into the fields. Now, when you think about that, that makes you double back and see why they want the Latinos out. Because the Latinos, right, to them, they are reproducing entirely too fast, okay? And so they're like, we got to get them out of here because Black Americans don't reproduce as fast as the Latinos. And so if we could get them out, then the Black Americans can take their place in the field. This is for real. And so now you double back to the Black jobs. They're taking your job. Yes, you got to double back to what he said. They're taking Black jobs, y'all. Like, they have all this down. Like, they have all this whole circle. So now let's go back to the farmers, if you're still with me, okay? Because the white farmers, that's what they believed was going to happen. So if y'all got all that straight, this is the message to the white farmers. The last thing you want is for Black Americans to be in your fields. Don't let the devil fool you. As a matter of fact, you might want to let the devil fool you to see what's going to happen. Well, I'm trying to tell you, the last thing you ever going to want is Black Americans in your fields. Nah, I'm going to let you fill in the blank on that one. And this goes to show that they will go to any lengths. Remember I said that, first of all, we had the Latinos, some Latinos, not all of them, just them Cuban ones, talk about you're next, right? To Black Americans. So they thought we was immigrants, okay? And so now we have the white farmers who are still living in the 1700s, thinking back to glory days, quote unquote. They thought with their vote, we were going to the fields. So you got one group thinking they gonna kick us out of here, and you got another group of people thinking that we going to the fields. Now this right here is a real mental problem, because people are literally stuck. I'm telling y'all, people are stuck in the 1700s when they think about Black Americans, okay? I'm telling you, their thought process, they sit around probably campgrounds and picnics and stuff and talk about how can we make this happen? That was their heyday. I'm telling you, when that freaking plantation house burned down, in Louisiana, I think, right? That was their heyday. Now I'm trying to tell you, that was their heyday. When that plantation house down in Louisiana got torched, okay? I'm telling you, that broke them. But I just want to, you know what? I want to teach them a little bit more history if I have your attention, right? If I have your attention, right? This is some history that a lot of people don't know, okay? But y'all didn't know Black Americans had white servants. Y'all ain't know that. I mean, it wasn't widespread or anything like that, but we had white servants. Yeah, and they wanted to be our servants because they needed work. They were coming over from Europe. Yeah, and they were docile too. Yeah, they were docile, and Black Americans, the aristocrats, the wealthy ones, because they were wealthy ones. Okay, they had white servants. So I don't know if y'all ever see them pictures. Let me find a picture. I couldn't find a picture. I wasn't gonna go back and try to find a picture, but if you can watch videos, you'll be able to find a picture of possibly some Black people in the horse-drawn carriages, and there may be someone white as the horseman or I'm not sure what you call them, coachman or whatever. Yeah, he worked for them. Yes, indeed. It was a big thing. It was a big thing, when everybody began to see in the early 1900s, what? Black Americans, they use the other word. Black Americans have white servants. Yeah, that's a bit of history they don't like to put on TV. And the reason for it is because they were like, okay, they had, white people here that they could hire. And they also had Black people here that they could hire. But they felt that the white people from Europe were so docile, and they were less expensive. Now, they weren't the only ones who thought that. The wealthy white people thought that too. The wealthy white people were like, yeah, we like the docile immigrant white people. They're a lot cheaper. They take less money. Yeah, so there's a bit of history for you. Oh yeah, it was like that. Oh yeah, because they knew they would have to pay Black Americans a lot more. Lot more. So they always went for the immigrant. And see, when the Black Americans hired the white immigrants, they were like really like, yes, we will do it, because they want to stay in America. Here's the difference though. Black Americans didn't mistreat them. They didn't mistreat them at all. But anyway, that's just a little side note. But yeah, to the white farmers again, this is the last thing you want. The last thing you want is for Black Americans to be out in your fields. The last thing you want. Trust and believe. And next time, you know what? Stop basing your vote on how to harm Black Americans, because you're going to end up running into that wall that's going to tumble. Okay? That's what's going to end up happening. Stop doing that. All of you do it. Like, all of you. You had the conservative Asian Americans coming through with the whole Ivy League school. We don't want Black Americans there. Then you had the I will vote for Donald Trump Cubans, okay, who were thinking, okay, you're next, okay. Okay, we're not immigrants, so we're not next. And now we have the white farmer who thought that they were going to get the Black Americans in the fields. And then this is all off of Project 2025. So now look where you got America. Look where you got the United States of America. And a lot of people say, why Black Americans think everything revolves around them? No, y'all think everything revolves around us because y'all make everything revolve around us. Y'all stuff coming out.
They absolutely killed that boy. We all know they did. And you see, the crazy thing is, even without bringing race into it yet, we know for a fact that kids become evil as fuck when they are jealous. You put all those teenagers on a secluded island or a secluded beach with no adult supervision, underage drinking, and girls, jealousy is inevitable. Fighting is inevitable. And then when they are caught fighting, they will look you dead in your face and say, I tripped. I fell. That's how quickly teenagers lie to adults' faces to cover up their own act. Now, to bring race into it, it's about an 80% chance that they're about to sweep this under the rug. One of those white boys' fathers is going to pay off the police and tell them to sweep this under the rug and call it an accident to protect all those white boys from going to prison. That's exactly what's about to happen. I give about an 80% chance. Because you know where else this looks familiar? Thelma Horsford, who mysteriously turned up dead surrounded by her white friends at a sleepover. Or Trey Reed, being found hung from a tree on a predominantly white college campus where he was conveniently found where none of the cameras would have saw him. And we're disgusted all the same. And we're supposed to celebrate this country, right? We're supposed to say that racism is over and to just get over racism, right? Oh, and just an FYI, if any of y'all are in my comment section victim blaming this kid, you're blocked.
Secret Service Sam here with a Nolan Xavier Wells update, and this guy Tierney Simmons is a genius. He breaks down why if we get the GPS to the other two boats, we could solve this case. Now, a little trigger warning, he does like to clear his throat.
The boat leaves at 9:56, goes to Horn Island. The boys said that they did not, the last time they saw Nolan was at 3 o'clock. That's a lie, because you didn't leave till 4:31. From the time that they claimed they saw him, they also said, oh, he said he's going to catch another boat with some other friends. That's what he told us. So that tells you right there that there was other boats, at least 2 other boats, because the other 2 sped away at the same time. But the GPS for the other 2 boats ain't here. Why? So when they left the island, I think a fight possibly took place on the boat, in the water. The other 2 boats, I'm going to just say here and here. The other 2 boats was close by watching. Somebody on one of these other boats was like, we ain't finna stay and watch this, bro. This is bad. He don't deserve it. Whatever. This is bullshit. They went ahead to Fort Bayou. So they was already there. 1 or 2 boats was already here. They continued to come to Fort Bayou. When they got to Fort Bayou, they had Nolan's body on the boat with them. Because if they did the crime at Horn Island, they would have just left him at Horn Island. But instead of being here and then just turning around to go drop him off after they did what they did the dumb move and went down to Fort Bayou. And they went over here to where one of the boats was that said, okay, man, we got to take this man back and get rid of him. The second boat, or the third, whichever one, because one of them 2 left and was like, we're not watching this out here. One of them boats took Nolan's body back and dropped it off. That boat's GPS is not up here. And that boat came back to Fort Bayou. And then the boat that Nolan was originally on at 6:06 went over here somewhere. And then at the end of the day, it ended up here. And them cleaning it off. This one boat doubling back to Bayou and doing all that, that has everything to do with the second boat's GPS that's not here.
See, what I don't get is how did the boat taking on water go to Fort Bayou, but I also know that boat could not go back to Horn Island if it allegedly had Nolan because they didn't want to get stuck there. This is intriguing. What do you guys think? Secret Service Sam out, Samson for president of the world.
This is the exact reason I tell my kids, friend or no friend, you can't trust anybody. How is it possible for a group of friends to go to Mississippi's Horn Island, but when they come back home, they come back without somebody that they went with? And they gonna say race ain't play a part. You see everybody in this picture right here. Tell me what looks different. Tell me. You had an 18-year-old accomplished football star, Nolan Wells, goes to Mississippi Horn Island with his friends on the 4th of July. And then he turns up missing. Mind you, all of his friends make it home safe. And the person that went with them, Nolan Xavier Wells, he's missing. And nobody has nothing to say about that. You have his so-called friends saying that they don't remember anything. They don't remember seeing what happened to him. Mind you, they have pictures on the boat. Mind you, they have pictures together, but nobody knows what happened to him. Now you got the Coast Guard, sheriff deputies, Marine units, and multiple agencies searching for him right now. They're searching the waters, searching surrounding areas, trying to figure out what happened. They're also saying that the last time he was seen with a team. They're also saying that they found his phone, but they didn't find him. What teen do you know right now would leave his phone behind? Tell me that. But you see how all of this sounds? This is why disappearances like this and places like this always leave people questioning. If you spend time looking into missing person cases like this, then you already know what may be the outcome. Do you understand how this young man's parents has to feel? They just want their kid back. We definitely need to spread the word about this. We need some answers. This shit is crazy.
We need to talk about Nolan Xavier Wells until the media actually start covering this story, until the police actually start doing their job. If this had happened in any other scenario, imagine a white boy with 3 black boys not coming home. Those boys would be arrested. Imagine a white girl with 3 white boys. Those boys would be under scrutiny for their relationship to women had there been abuse before. Imagine a white girl and 3 black boys not coming back. Again, suspicion of murder and scrutiny. But the media are reverse blaming him, including his friend's mum, who's just come out with a statement saying he chose to get on another boat. He chose to get on another boat without his phone, without his keys. He chose to get on another boat, and yet his body was recovered right at the tip of this horn, far away from where any boat would ever leave. So these are his friends who he took a trip to Horn Island that can only be accessed by boat, and again, only left by boat. So it's not the kind of place where you say to your friends, hey, leave me here, I'll walk on water home. Also, quite easy to arrest these boys and question them because they're drinking underage. You can get a criminal record, you can be arrested. There's evidence of them drinking underage, and there's evidence that they left their friend who died. Can certainly result in questioning by police. Why were you drinking? Why did you leave your friend to die? So this guy, Warren, his now deleted social media, his mum just came out and reverse victim blamed. Apparently Nolan decided to stay on an island you could only leave by boat, but gave his friends his phone. Completely bizarre. So your son brought Nolan to an island that can only be accessed by boat and left by boat. Last saw him at 3 and then thought at 4:30, oh, we'll just leave. The boat's got a little bit of water in it. It's time to leave. Let's take his phone. Let's take his keys. As a mother, to condone your son leaving his friend behind on an island he cannot leave without boat, let's take our friend's phone and keys, who we haven't seen apparently for an hour and a half, and leave. Let's just leave him here. Oh, and then we'll blame him. He decided he wanted to stay. He decided he wanted us to bring his phone and keys and not him. He was going to get on another boat without his phone and keys. Just curious how Nolan could make a decision to stay if he hasn't been seen for 1.5 hours. Gave her son and his friends his phone and keys and decided to just wander off to the end of the island where his body was discovered. While these guys kept on partying, they posted on social media their drunk, fun antics while they left their friend missing and unalived. A judge wants us to believe that her son just very kindly took Nolan's phone and keys, left him on an island because he wanted to get another vote after having an argument. Nolan just decided to go right to the end of this island on his own. No phone, no keys, no boat, no friends, and mysteriously died. Nolan's family deserve the truth. Nolan Xavier Wells. We will keep saying your name. And we will keep saying your friends' names so they can delete social media posts, but they cannot delete their identity. These are the boys who are wanted in suspicion of murder of Nolan Xavier Wells.
Yeah, they're not gonna beat this allegation, bruh. So news is coming out that they found a body just right off the coast of Horn Island, right? And they're saying that the body that they found is Nolan Xavier Wells. And now people are starting to look at his friends and they're asking questions. And the answers that are coming in are just not adding up. And the reason I said these guys are not going to beat the allegations, right, is simply because you don't just leave someone behind, bruv. Here's the problem. Horn Island is only accessible by boat. These guys went on the island on a trip for the 4th of July. They're buddies. Now the reports are saying that they left Nolan because he got separated because he went with a girl. Now they tracked down the girl. They're asking the girl when was the last time she saw Nolan. She's pretty much saying, oh, we just briefly talked. We got separated real quick. Wooty whoop. She don't know where he went. So this group of friends, which was his only transport to the island, left him and are now saying that they left him because he went with a random girl. They tracked down the girl. The girl is like, I don't know. We was talking for a little bit and then we separated. Now I'm commenting on this as a father, right? Also as an experienced diver, right? And also as a son who lost his father to drowning. This has nothing to do with skin color. But what I'm going to tell you is, as a man, as a human, you don't just leave your friend behind, your crew member behind, especially if you're their only transportation to a spot that is only accessible by the boat or by boats. And you are once again his only fucking ride. Now you guys are all home with a shady ass story, and then the one chick you're calling on also has a very minimal of a story. So now all eyes are on you guys. And now we have a young man that is missing, possibly dead, and you guys are responsible for this shit. So yeah, you're not beating the allegations.
This is everything that's happened with the Nolan Xavier Wells case so far. After Nolan's body was discovered, it was flown all the way from Mississippi to Washington, D.C., so an independent autopsy could be done on the body. As of right now, no criminal charges have been pressed, but based on what comes out of this autopsy, that might actually change. Most recently, Nolan's family demanded a probe into his passing, as they don't seem to think that it was a natural occurrence or accident that caused Nolan to pass away. Right now, Nolan's family is being represented by top civil rights attorney Ben Crump. I'll update you guys as more comes out about this case.
This that crazy stuff that I be talking about, man. We already had our Juneteenth already. You know, our Juneteenth just passed on June the 19th. The problem that I'm having is what the heck was this kid right here doing out in the middle of the water on an island with these people right here, man? I don't care how cool they are, bro. I mean, we all know what's going on in Mississippi. Y'all see what happened in Mississippi last year at the college campuses? Did y'all see what happened a mile away from the college campus? Just an hour after one situation was already discovered in a tree dangling. Why would you want to go out to a dang on island with these people right here? Y'all don't look anything alike. We talking Mississippi, man. We already know, man, Mississippi don't like us. Mississippi has never liked us. That's why I don't understand why our people are still moving to Mississippi, let alone going out in the dang on water with four people who don't have your best interest at heart. And I really hope that they bring this young man home alive, but I'm hearing some stories, man. I'm hearing that a fisherman found someone, but nothing has been confirmed. But they did say a fisherman has found someone in the water in the same area where this young kid right here, this young 18-year-old baby, came up missing. I don't understand how them four people left the dock. when they got the boat. 3 people returned back to the dock to turn their boat in. 1 person was missing. What the hell was their stories? Come on. It's not what I think it is it, guys? Because I'm starting to really think something awful. I'm really starting to think something awful. All 4 of those young men look like really nice, healthy young men. Look like that they don't have a racist bone in their body. I just hope that this isn't what I think it is. And I'm not putting any rumors out there. I'm not going to use the word alleged because I'm not allegedly making any accusations. I'm just giving an opinion, and I'm asking you guys your opinion. This don't look right to me at all. Something is not right. 4 went out on the boat. 3 came back to turn the boat in. Where the hell was this young man at? Why didn't he return to the boat dock to turn that boat in with them 3 other people? Something ain't right here, guys. Something's not right.
What I find interesting is that we are seeing a fast federal response to threats being made to people, individuals involved with this case, but we are not seeing the same response to the question that we are all asking. What happened to Nolan? How did this 18-year-old black child end up dead on the 4th of July in a group of white friends? This is the pattern that we need to continue to call out and recognize when we see the lack of urgency when it comes to determining what happened when you see black and brown children show up dead, but more of a sense of urgency to find out who is threatening people that are directly involved with this case. It is the same pattern that we see in the usage of language such as no foul play suspected. It's used fast, it's used confidently. And we know that it's used as a way to shut us up, as a way to minimize the questions being asked so that maybe that we will let it go. Maybe it can get swept under the rug and maybe the people involved or directly responsible can avoid accountability altogether. I don't believe that we can expect real justice until we are open and honest and leaving race on the table because we live in a racialized society, because we need to be using our discernment and our pattern recognition to identify that this keeps happening and that it's different outcomes when the victim is of a certain color. Who we see the urgency going towards, the energy and the sympathy going towards, how fast we see justice happen for some and how fast we see convictions happen for others. The math is not mathing, and we are being gaslit into believing that we should not even be asking questions in the first place. So while the FBI investigates in interstate threats, which is a vague statement on purpose, interstate threats being made against individuals involved with this case, we are still left with the burning question, what happened to Nolan? And if these so-called friends are innocent, then why did their behavior not align with people who are innocent? I think the fact that we are still waiting on answers to what happened to Nolan really shows the larger problem we have in this country when it comes to suspicious and violent or malevolent disappearances and murders and dismemberments and hangings and all kinds of things that happen to black and brown people, black children, black people, especially when it comes to being in groups of white people. And I know there's people that are going to say that this attack on Nolan, this murder of Nolan or whatever, leaving Nolan behind, whatever happened that led to Nolan no longer being with us, there will be people that will say this was not racially motivated. Those were his friends. If we take that and we run with it, we still have to acknowledge the fact that the handling of this case is very much so racially motivated. And that is still a problem. Because you and I both know that if that boy that showed up dead or did not turn up back with his group of friends had been a white boy in a group of black boys, he would be justified and those boys would be in jail and questions would be asked after the fact. And if you say that anything different would happen, you are ignorant on purpose.
Well, after watching these clips, what I have to say is that people should be cautious around the kind of friends they keep, because most persons here are trying to attribute the Nolan's case to racism, but it might not actually be the case at the end of the day. Maybe he has just bad company, he keeps bad friends. So as parents, I think you all should educate your kids on the kind of friends they keep. And yeah, that's just it, because when things like this happen, people always have a lot to say, but as investigations are still going on, we should just allow the cops to do their job, because obviously people must talk and attribute it maybe to one or two things, but I don't think this issue was tied down to racism or something, because after watching the clips, I noticed that one of the girls, one of his friends, actually said some of the guys were drunk and they were on drugs or something like that. That should tell you that it boils down to the kind of company the guy was keeping to an extent, the kind of friends he had, and not necessarily because of racism. So be mindful of your own company that you keep. So if you loved my content, do well to hit on that subscribe button, and I would really love to hear your thoughts at the end of the day. Thank you very much for watching.